Okay, today we're gonna play a little composition game. So I happen to be in a kitchen today, so I'm going to use the utensils to do this, but you can use any objects that you have multiple of. I'm using a tray here. That's going to be my substrate or the space where my composition will take place. And my objects are going to be these utensils to create my composition. So I'm going to create a composition and then you're going to guess what type of composition I have created. All right, my composition is completed. Do you have a guess of what this composition is? If you guessed balanced, you are absolutely correct. If I were to divide this image directly in half, this side and this side should be a mirror image of each other. That's what we call symmetrical balance. It's the same over here as it is over here. Let's try another composition. Okay, another composition here. What's your guess on this type of composition? Yes, it's balanced again, but this time it's not symmetrical balance, because if I take this side and compare them to each other, they're not identical by any means. But what I do have is the same weight on both sides. So what that means is I took 3 forks and I balanced them out with 3 spoons. They're going different directions, so that makes them different. They're different utensils, so that makes them different. But what we do have is balance. These 3 spoons and these 3 forks visually weigh the same. Now this cup is a full cup, and so it's quite large compared to these 2 small ones. So if I put a large image or a large object on one side, I'm going to want to balance it out with 2 small ones or 3 smaller ones. So I'm finding balance, but it's asymmetrical. It's not the same on both sides. Okay, how about this one? This composition is balance again, so we have 3 different kinds of balance. This one is called radial balance because if I chop this in half, these 2 sides are the same. If I chop this in half this way, it's the same. If I chop it in half this way, it's the same. This way, it's the same. So really, radial balance starts from the inside and builds its way out to the edges of your composition or your substrate. So this is called radial balance. Let's move on to another composition. Here we go. Here's another composition. Do you have a guess of what this composition might be? If you're guessing emphasis, you are right. So if you take a look at this, we have a lot of the same colors except for one. If we have a composition like this, this draws your eye to the one element that's different. It could be a different shape, it could be a different color, it could be a different texture. It draws your eye to a new spot or a certain spot in your composition. We're gonna try one more composition today with this composition game. All right, this is our last composition. Do you have a guess of what this one might be? If you guess pattern, you're right. We have a regular pattern, actually, is what this is called, where you have the same thing over and over, and it's predictable, it's regular, it's in a row. So we're having fork, knife, fork, knife. This is called regular pattern. Okay, now it's your turn. You're going to get a substrate, a piece of paper or a tray like what we used, and objects. They will not have to be utensils. And you're going to arrange them in different ways to create different compositions. Go ahead and give it a try.